Coming up on this edition of the Cowboys Report, a 7-round Dallas Cowboys mock draft for you guys. This is based on the current NFL draft order. I did not do trades. It gets too complicated. And I use the PFN mock draft sim. I'll make note, it's still kind of broken. I abuse it in a couple of different moments because that's how it goes in December / early January when it comes to mock drafts. Now, if you want another mock draft once the draft order is finalized next week, show it by liking today's video for me right now. Let's talk some notable round 1 picks before the Cowboys go on the clock here at 13. I'll make note, Browns and Giants took Shadur Sanders, Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, Kel Williams, Tet McMillan, Ashton Jeanty goes to the Raiders, Nick Scorton to the Bears, James Pierce, Will Johnson, and Colston Loveland to the Colts at number 12. So several players I've got interest in here in round 1. Luther Burden is there out of Missouri. Kelvin Banks out of Texas. Malachi Starks from Georgia, who might be the best player left, but there is positional value impact there for safeties, plus how the Cowboys operate. Jalen Walker, an edge linebacker hybrid out of Georgia. And then Will Campbell, I think might be a guard out of LSU. At pick 13, though, I'm taking Luther Burden. This is a different type of receiver than what the Dallas Cowboys currently have. I would love to find somebody who I can throw an underneath pass to, and he can get a big chunk gain, and it's not just CeeDee Lamb who's the only one who can do that for me. Luther Burden gives the Cowboys the number 2 wide receiver they haven't had in far too many years. His 2024 play was not nearly as good. Quarterback play was an issue. Injuries were an issue. Missouri just wasn't as good overall. There is a connection there because Missouri's OC is Kellen Moore's brother, by the way, if you didn't know that. It's Kirby Moore down at Missouri. He is an impact playmaker at wide receiver, which you don't have right now. He is a player, if you have the right coach who can scheme stuff creatively too, can be even better than what I think he's going to most likely be in the NFL. I don't have a player like Burden. And with Jeanty and some of the top defensive players off the board, I'm going to go that route, plus it's different than what we did last time. So who do you want to draft in round 1? Lots of different answers are perfectly acceptable here. It is December, after all. There's almost no bad answers, frankly. Who do you want to draft in round 1? Let me know in the comment section of today's show. The pinned comment. The ad comes here on YouTube. Notable round 2 picks. Boy, Benjamin Morrison might scream Blue Star Special. Injured player, good player, premium position. He goes to the Browns, though. Tyler Warren to the Giants. Jahad Campbell to the Patriots. Derek Harmon to the Jets. And then Kevin Winston Jr., good Penn State safety, to the Bears. Round 2, pick 44. I had a bunch of options I liked. We'll break them down in a second. I'm going to go with the player we haven't talked about much, who I like, but I am scared of too, which makes him a classic second-round Dallas Cowboys pick. That's Deone Walker, the Kentucky defensive tackle. He is a very uniquely gifted football player. You don't find people who are built like Deone Walker is. He is listed at 6'6", about 344. Now, the problem is he plays like he's 6'6" sometimes. He's way too upright, and that causes some leverage issues. They've also dropped him into coverage, and it works. He moves like he's not 6'6", 344. The production hasn't always been great. Kentucky was also bad this year, which was a factor, and they were much better in 2023. Go figure. More sack chances when you're better. He is a tweener. Like, he's built like a defensive tackle, but I almost wonder if you try him at defensive end sometimes to help some of the leverage issues. But he is a really intriguing defensive lineman. I think he'll blow up the combine as well. Other players who are on the board, Princely Omonle-Ellen, I think he's an underrated player from Ole Miss. Safety Xavier Watts, we got him like in the 6th round of the first mock draft we did because I told you it was broken. JT Tuimoloau was there. Jahdae Barron from Texas. If I don't retain Jordan Lewis, that is one of my guys this year. Barron is everything I like in a corner. He's tough. He's physical. Make plays on the football. He can do safety, can do nickel, can do outside. That is one of my favorite, independent of like how good they actually are, favorite prospects in this class. Caleb Johnson was also there, the Iowa running back, but there are several good backs. So I'm going to gamble on a back falling. I really thought about Barron there. I really did. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. It is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. It is playoff time. It's now or never, so don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. They also offer MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. I always advise the flex play. I'm following my boy Jack Lauderay, who's been on a pretty good stretch of late with the flex play for the CFP quarterfinals. Stovall more than receiving yards, Howard more than passing yards, Carnell Tate anytime touchdown as well. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly, win or lose, once you play your first $5 lineup. Let's go to round 3, and we'll kind of not do as many other players on the board and recent picks because it's the third round. You guys don't care as much. TreVeyon Henderson. I love this fit with the Dallas Cowboys. In theory, it's alongside Rico Dowdle, but I think you could add a different, power back to an extent here. Henderson is having his best year since his freshman year. And I don't think it's an accident that it's coming when the touches are at a little bit of a lower figure. You split time with Quinshawn Judkins. Henderson is a game breaker. He is a big play machine. If you have a guy that's a bit more efficient, like a Rico Dowdle, who doesn't always bring you the big explosive plays, Henderson is the exact complement I want. He can catch. He's a big play machine. It's like the better versions of, or maybe not to the same extent, but like the good versions of an effective Ezekiel Elliott and the explosive plays from Tony Pollard. That is a running back committee that works. And to get him with a UDFA and a third-round pick, that's good bang for your buck, too. Other guys that were on the board, Ollie Gordon was there, down year, but had an awesome 2023 campaign. You might not know the name Jalen Royals. He's really good out of Utah State. Very good football player. I like Dorian Strong from Virginia Tech. Gunnar Helm if you want a tight end, which maybe now you do want a tight end. Then again, I can't justify a third top 120 pick on a tight end. I just can't do it. Dennis Sutton was also there at edge. Now, do you want to draft a running back before round 3? I'd love to spend one of the 4th, but I have no 4th-round pick. Why for yes and for no? Sound off for me in the comments of today's show. Let's go to round 5, pick number 149, Jalen Catalon, the safety from UNLV. Very experienced safety. He's actually spent 6 years in college. Had a big-time bounce-back year. I am worried he is a Barriota merchant because he's only been good under Barry Odin for some reason. This was much better play. This looked a lot more like the 2020 version. I'm skipping 2022 when he barely played. When he had 99 tackles, he's got 89 this year. 5 TFLs, 4 PBUs, 5 interceptions. I will say, I'm in the 5th round. So I'm not mad if you don't like the pick because it's the 5th round. I'm not going to find instant impact starters more often than not. These are depth guys, rotation pieces that maybe can develop a little bit. And given my answer here on Donovan Wilson, Lee Hooker, safety's probably a need. We got a lot of round 5 picks, thanks to comp picks here. Smell Mondin, the linebacker out of Georgia. I want to get another linebacker. I think Leofau can be one starter. I'd love to sign a veteran as well and then let Overshone come along. But I think this team is out on Damone Clark. So another day 3 pick a linebacker to fill that spot makes sense to me. I think Mondin's been better this year. Only 9 games played, but you can look at the tackle numbers per game, and they're pretty effective. I think definitely a better run stopper than a pass coverage guy, but I think I have enough pieces to fill that beyond that. Round 5, let's go get a corner because you've only got a couple guys under contract, and we'll see how many return anyway. Jamari Harris out of Iowa. I think a little bit overlooked on what is a pretty strong Iowa, even back 7, if you want to include Jay Higgins, the linebacker, in this conversation. I need depth. I need bodies. I need guys that I think can develop. And I think Harris played pretty good for Iowa. Again, they had plenty of talent there. 1 touchdown allowed, under 45% completion rate, 218 yards, good production, good coverage at corner, 3 interceptions. Has had, I think, 7 in the course of his career. That's the top of my head there. So, plus Iowa corners and DBs have been on a decent track record of late, but not terribly good. But it's still, you never got the helmet. I think it's a worthwhile pick in the 5th. Also in the 5th, I'll take Jack Nelson here, the offensive tackle from Wisconsin. Big guy listed at 6'7". If this team wants to commit to Richards as a guard, then I think adding a tackle could make some sense because I don't think the Matt Waletzko thing is going to work out anymore. And in general, I want to take a offensive lineman each year. I didn't love the interior linemen that were there. I want to add an offensive lineman each season in the draft. I think it's such a high-impact position, short-term, long-term, and you carry 8 to 10 of them each year, it makes sense. And Nelson didn't get beat very much for Wisconsin. 1 sack, 6 hurries, was a bit of a penalty boy, and probably why he's available in the 5th round. Now, we'll have plenty of Cowboys mock drafts and draft coverage for you here on the channel. Make sure you guys are subscribed. YouTube.com/CowboysTV. Round 6, pick 190, Alfred Collins, the DT out of Texas. I will say, I think this is cheating. I don't think he's going to make it to pick 190. I don't know if he makes it to pick 90, frankly. The lack of stat sheet impact is very obvious. He hasn't been a big tackle guy, hasn't been a big sack guy, has had a handful of TFLs, but he is good when you watch him. He's consistently generating pressures, and I look at my defensive tackle depth chart right now, and I got one guy under contract. His name is Mozzie Smith. I technically have Justin Rogers under contract as well. It's a bit of a wonky thing. He was also a 7th-round pick that was on a practice squad up until two weeks ago. I've got one guy that's played games for me under contract at defensive tackle. I have to add pieces there. I think maybe overlooked to an extent, especially if you lose Osa, you have to overhaul this entire defensive line room this offseason, at least on the interior. Round 6, pick 212. This is it's December. I don't know if I'm going to lose Jordan Lewis, so I'll draft a potential nickel corner. Jacob Parrish out of Kansas State. He's been an outside corner for KSU. He's already turned pro early, by the way. I think he might fit best as a nickel. He did a pretty good job in coverage this year. He's also a pretty solid tackler. And given his size, he's listed at like 5'10". I think he might be a nickel convert in the NFL. And to find one, late 6th round, makes sense to me. Let's just screw around in the 7th round. Let's take Riley Leonard, because why not? It was the 7th round. I didn't like any of the guys that were there, so I said, screw it. I'll just take the quarterback, and he can be my new Will Grier. Leonard is a good athlete, and he is very experienced. Throwing the ball downfield remains at times an issue. But I've got 10 picks. I already spent a premium pick on the back. I got a receiver. Let's just have some fun and take a quarterback. Let's just have some fun with it. So here's the mock draft. Luther Burden, Deone Walker, TreVeyon Henderson. I'm focused more on the top 3 picks in these mocks because that's what's going to really impact you. And I like that trio a lot. Jalen Catalon, Smail Mondin, Jamari Harris, Jack Nelson, Alfred Collins, Jacob Parrish. And then we took the next Ben DiNucci in Riley Leonard, which I actually think is a semi-decent player comp, by the way. So grade this mock draft for the Cowboys. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comments section of today's show.